16 in the summertime when you saw me like a movie scene. We were crazy like a teenage crime. You picked me up and you'd had 69. Every night we snuck out. So I've been waiting by your house. Every night we snuck out. The sun will rise for the last time. Stay by your side. For you I stay by your side. Would you stay by my side? For you I stay by your side. Thought I could leave you, stay by my side. It's now or never. Bonnie and Clyde create a story for a different time, for the memories in which we started. Night, stay by your side. For you, I stay by your side. Would you stay by my side? For you, I stay by your side.
started to fall, and where were you? How could I know you were falling too? Grabbing the wind, cutting my skin, but it's hard because I'm falling. Tell me why I'm falling. Oh, life's calling, but it's hard because I'm falling.
Loot.bet, made for live betting.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Loot.bet CS League Season 2. And of course, we are in our, well, only best of 3 of the day, but it is certainly starting to round up with already quite a few teams being eliminated, as well as progressing to the playoffs. And, well, today will be no different, as we have Nordavind versus SJ. It shall be the elimination match between the two, and Nordavind eliminating Winstrike just prior to a few days ago. They have had, you know, quite a game overall. They've shown that they are able to at least give us some sort of hope for the whole team as a unit. And well, today they face off their Nordic brothers, the Finns, aka Super Yume. Well, now as SJ. But of course, I'm not alone in this. I will be joined by my friend Kieran. We'll be having a blast casting Train, Overpass, and potentially Mirage.
Yeah, and this is going to be, again, an interesting game, like you say, with Nordavind knocking out Winstrike. maybe these guys can, you know, sprout up and really be an entity that not even makes it too far, maybe gets to playoffs potentially and drops out. But if they can knock out some teams along the way, I think that's a great achievement for these guys with the limited sort of information that we have on this new roster, with all the unexpectancy around them, with not particularly playing too many maps, with not really having too much of an insight on how these guys are really playing. They make them so unexpected going into a best of 3, and I think that's what's really riding with them right now. Of course, they've taken a couple of losses, but also that great 2-0 victory against Winstrike, I think, might just be the kickstart for these guys. And the worst part about it is SJ have their own little tribulations as well, with them not particularly being able to close out games. So I think that's something that Nordavind, even on a map like Train, which is SJ's sort of main map, they could really exploit and definitely can look to take victory.
Absolutely, the 2-0 for Nordavind gave them perhaps, you know, exactly the boost they needed. They have shown us nothing up to that point, up to that best of 3 itself, and I'm happy to see them play very well. They've shown some great proficiency at, you know, at actually going for executes and some sort of tactics. One thing that I would like to mention, though, it's interesting they let Train in the map pool, as SJ, they are known to love this map. They're known to play this map, and it's the pistol we're live on right now. You mentioned SJ had their own turbulation. Certainly, Dream Eaters can prove that. And right now, Yampy's going to find an entry, but it's going to be Croman that got a kill beforehand. Oh, Yampy shuts down a second as Densky has been caught exiting connector. Now, Yampy will finally fall as the faction's there to refrag, but Robino keeps it at 2-on-2. This was a close call. Sadix and KRN, he's got a good crossfire, but Sadix misses his shot, excuse me. And it's all eyes to Rubino and Croman. Oh, I don't think they know he's there. He's got a silencer. No, he doesn't. And it's a 1-on-1, and Rubino, he's gonna tap the bomb. He hears Sadix jumping and running. And now it's back to a clutch moment. There is no kit on Rubino. Time is of the essence, and he misses him just on the train above. As Sadix is juking perfectly. Time has ran out, and it's gonna have to be Nordavind that succeed the round, unfortunately. Rubino takes a bullet to the face. No, he survives as he returns the favor to Sadix, but it is gonna be SJ that pick up the pistol.
Yeah, and a nice little opener for SJ, especially on that T side. Need to get themselves a little bit of a run to begin on this T side. Obviously, we spoke about Train being notoriously CT-sided, and I think with SJ getting the pistol round, that does now put them into good stead to taking that couple more to begin this T side. And it's interesting as well that a lot of the sort of, not odds, but just overall sort of predictions of this game, a lot of people favoring Nordavind just coming into this match alone, I think is very testimony to how good these guys have been playing in their past best of 3s. But I think the unexpectancy is what's going to really make them a hard entity to follow, especially on this map. The only game they've played was against Argo, a team that notoriously likes to play Train, and they took a 16-8 defeat. So not particularly being too
their CT side was
so far, but yeah, like, their CT side is actually really good. So I think getting onto the gun round, we can definitely see a change out of these guys. But for now, it looks like it should be a clean 2-0 start, and maybe even a 3 as well, as Nordavind have gone for the force. But yeah, like you said, get them onto that gun round, and they can become monstrous, especially when we get Holzerk on that AWP.
True. Like, I absolutely wish to see Holzerk wielding the op, as up to this point. I mean, he's one of the primary reasons why they won so well against Winstrike. And I'm, of course, referring to the 2-0 result. He had been leading the scoreboards completely for Nordavind, and if he was not on the top, he had certainly clutched his fair share of rounds and just went above and beyond with his skills. And that's one thing that Nordavind really have as an ace in the sleeve, I guess, in a way. Red Faction, I think, was the most disappointing of all 5. He's like the guy that everybody expected to show up, or more so to be the main, you know, the staple ace of Nordavind, to outperform, outgun, and outshine pretty much anybody on the server. Unfortunately, you know, the last best of 3, obviously, he had a few moments, but overall, I think both Croman and Holzerk shadowed everybody. And, well, we'll see how well they can pull it off here. Nordavind, though, as you mentioned, they forced up. It's going to have to be an eco. Rubino, he had a saved scout, so he can at least work with that. But SJ, in the past, they've had a few issues with rounds like this. And Sadix, okay, there's the tag. SJ actually, when we look at the past itself, they've had quite a few rounds where they lost against Ecos, so hopefully that's not going to be, you know, happening here as well.
Yeah, especially considering that losing 2 of these ecos, especially so early into the game, would be unfortunate. Holzerk is able to open up with the first kill, but luckily Sadix responds with at least one of his own Arvid. And Sadix to do the majority of the work, and even though it got a little shaky to begin, relatively clean to end off, and as Yampi to finish. Yeah, nice little 3-0 start for this SJ side. I think Nordavind going into their first gun round now will be starting to come out of their shell a little more, but with this being a great map for SJ,
yeah,
we should start to see them bringing out a lot of T-side stability, seeing some executions, some plays that a T-side confident on their map pick should be bringing. And I think SJ realistically coming into this have to be able to win the first map, or else with the way that Nordavind played Overpass against Windigo, being able to tie up that 16-14, yes, it was a loss, but you know, being in that kind of close fashion, getting into that second map, I think SJ is going to have a world of trouble. So yeah, I think for the survival of the Finns in this series, they do have to take first map and maybe go into it with a risk of losing the second, then get onto Mirage with a clear head. But overall, in this first gun round, we do see Holzerk on that AWP, and thank God with the plays that he was getting. I think you're like 3 3Ks in the past best of 3 that we saw, or at least a 3K and a 4K.
I know, yeah, it was I think it was a 4K with the op that he shut down a gun round by himself, and he held on a site. And I'm fairly certain he also, when he was doing a bit of a push on Dust, I think specifically, where he literally just went out of his way to completely deny everybody. I'm not sure if it was an ace even, but in any case, you know, he certainly has given his all to make sure Nordavind were not eliminated. And, well, it's going to be another start for Holzerk as he finds an entry on Ivy. Secondary as well, and this is already starting to look very weak for SJ on the gun round. Although the angle is not favoring Holzerk, he can evade as, well, pretty well. Rubino gets traded back, but it's only Mr. KRN and Zarty left, as the faction was able to snag a secondary. There's the double, actually, from him. And that's pretty much it. KRN doesn't expect Scrum in close range, and Nordavind find their first round, at least. So, SJ, it's going to start pretty weak on the gun round, at least for the moment. They took one man down. That's not really going to be a good start. Luckily, their money is high enough or good enough that they are able to reinvest. Probably an up, maybe, you know. I would actually like to see it, since they can counter Holzerk here. And yeah, Yampi's going to take it. How do they play now, though, is a better question. Presumably in a default, just looking to take map control. 2 Ivy, 2 upper brown holes, and 1 towards mid. That's pretty standard. You want to make sure that you hold those angles in your hands, that you're able to gain all the information you need to decide what you want to do in the late round. You have to make up your mind. You can't straight say, okay, we go for an A, execute, you try it, fails, you can't do it again, or at least you shouldn't be doing it again. You should be either looking for a different way onto a site, or if you are certain that it's going to work and it failed, then perhaps something you did was wrong. In any case, it's going to be Yampi with an entry, but Arvid comes across from mid. Okay, that's going to work out well. Red Faction and Densky unable to predict this kind of play, and it's only Kromen left. It seems like the CT's defense just melted away as if it was nothing.
Yeah, and especially being able to break onto that A site way easier than the past round. And with Kromen into a 1 versus 2, he can definitely isolate these one-on-one situations, with Arvid being incredibly low, but Zarty's there to finish, and a 4-1 for SJ. As they're able to reply with a Nordavind victory in the previous, they put one of their own on the board as well. That now forces the CTs into a little bit of uncertainty here. We'll begin to see some pistols, some Kevlar being purchased, but it won't be anything too elaborate. Tensky has quite the amount of cash. Wouldn't be surprised if he ecos that entirely to get holes like a drop of an AWP in the next round. But overall, there should be plenty of economy for that CT side moving forward. But yeah, SJ, beautiful start. And again, they're playing their own kind of game. They're not allowing any pace to be dictated by Nordavind early in this matchup. And Arvid, it's sort of rinse and repeat at this point. Things are working for them and they don't need to change anything. So again, he'll situate himself close main once more. And I doubt that Nordavind will be pushing any aggressive angles anytime soon with how that ended for them. But even in pistol rounds, they can afford to take away a couple of the kills, get some frags on the board. Holzerk will look to do that exactly, but Sadix, the first man to deny, and already into a 5 versus 4.
No, what?
Kromen.
What?
Oh, he drops down spots so many.
What was that? That's a bit weird to see. Certainly uncalled for. They drop an AK because of it, but you know, okay, fair enough. I like how you mentioned, yeah, SJ, they didn't do anything special. It was more Nordavind just trying to get themselves, you know, above and beyond, trying to push mid, and they got caught by Arvid there with a double, and Arvid was ready. They played a default. We could see that they had 2 brown holes, 2 Ivy, and 1 main, and you know, SJ, they weren't particularly concerned with early entries. What they wanted to do was just make sure they have map in their hand, or map control in their hands, and keep this clean. But look at this, 3-on-3 retake. Kroman takes down Arvid. This could get interesting. Time is ticking away though, and KRN misses his timing, but Yampi's gonna fall in Ivy. There goes one more, and unfortunately for Kroman, he misses his chance, and so will he miss this round. It shall be 5-1, and SJ off to a perfect start. But to kind of return back to the point as we were making, yeah, Nordavind perhaps too eager in that 1-gun round. They, or more so after the 1-gun round, that they tried to get more entries. They tried to get more out of, you know, what they already got, which ultimately cost them 2 more rounds. And this is another gun round where Holzer cast the op. They have to trust him to get those entries. Let's see how this one works out. It will be a bit of an Ivy push this time. I kind of like this, you know, change up the pace, try and surprise your opponents. Although, yeah, SJ is expecting this, and clearly, by the looks of it, they'll be ready. Yep. And now, Holzer, you're caught.
Literally no way to escape. He's like, well.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, there we go. The Molotov forces him out. Can't able to find the kill. It's simple from SJ right now. And again, with the way that you were sort of touting it, oh my god, he's just able to sneak out onto the site. Wow. Redafaction, he has no idea and can't combat it. Does get a team kill in the process, but... Ooh, Arvid. Okay, finally does spot the man, but Kroman making it to a 1 versus 2. Can't really escape too far though, and again, Nordavind will drop another gun round. But like you said, I'm confused as to why they do allow Train to be left in the pool. Nordavind have even wanted, or have even played in the past the map on Vertigo, showing that they may be a little comfortable to play that map as well, and that was left, I think, in the veto.
SJ removed it.
Okay, no, it was SJ's.
Yeah,
okay, fair enough.
SJ removed it. Yeah, that's why we don't see it.
The instant man, yeah.
I have to agree with you that, you know, why would they leave Train to be the map pick for SJ when they know SJ loves to play it? I'm not saying they don't know it. I'm just saying perhaps it would be better to not play it in any case. Although it is again on Nordavind. They try to push Ivy. As I said, it's a good idea, but perhaps not the right time to do it, right? Or at least once you realize, oh, there's the Molotov from the enemy. Surely they know we're pushing. Let's get the hell out of there, right? Let's not tempt fate as they did. There was no reason for it. Obviously, timing by that point was too late, or more so was just far too deep into it, committed. They had to do something, and they made the decision to stay put. They got flashed. It was the end of the round, and you know, with Holzer caught in that corner, what do you really do? So, SJ, this is better than I have ever imagined for Train, at least. The way they started off right now, the way they're pushing Nordavind to the limits, as well as resetting them completely. Nice pop flash reduction, actually, by Tensky. Even tags up Arvid. Or was it Kroman? I'm not sure. But Rabinho comes across with a single shot. That'll put down Sadix. Still going to be a 4-on-4, though, and B-side is lost and planted, more so taken over. KRN holding pop. Ooh, I'm not sure if he spotted the secondary player, but it doesn't matter. The end is there, and the end is nigh.
And with Redafaction only down to a scout, all they hope for is just to get out with a kill or anything to add some clarity to the CT side, but it is not going to happen. 7-1. And SJ starting to really make some great rounds on a T side as well, a side that is way harder to play on Train against a side that maybe can handle it or maybe can bring some ferocity to approach you. And I'm finally glad that Nordavind have changed it up a little bit. We'll see a double AWP setup to be brought out here in the 9th round. With the way that SJ have been playing, though, I think they should expect at least something to change from Nordavind. Maybe a turn of pace, and Yampi.
Oh my god.
Oh, Tensky, he tries to aggress, not allowed. Finally gets the trade back to the Redafaction.
Oh, but he's already spotted.
Playing smart, but yeah, he's been spotted. He won't be allowed to survive for too much longer. Burning in the Molotov, able to retreat, but not far enough. Arvid was particularly quiet in the last series that we saw from him, especially on Train, but he's really coming to show now. Rabino, though, a beautiful double from him. Zati to find one trade in return and back down to a 2 versus 2.
And this is going to be a tough one. Right now, Nordavind, they have no knowledge of the bomb, nor where the rest of the players are now. They don't even hear, or well, they have no chance to hear Sadix already rushing towards B side, and he's made it through already. Rubino and Kroman, they've got an op and the AUG, a lot of utility actually given the circumstance. But this is going to be a tough one indeed. As we can see, Sadix is making his way back into backline CT. He hears the player jumping. That's a free kill, and that's the round gone. I love that cam though, the secondary cam. That you can see him, you know, play the angle. And unfortunately for Kroman, this 1-on-2 is as difficult as it gets. First of all, he's coming from connector, and the Molotovs proved that SJ are very much aware of that, or at least know that there's a high chance he's coming from connector. Both players, Rubino and Kroman, were staying together, at least trying to stick it close to each other so they could refrag somehow or some way. Kroman, though, yeah, there's going to be one in heaven, one in baseline. There's no chance you actually clutch this. He's going to smoke the bomb, sure, but with the time left, for some reason Sadix speaks out, but luckily Mr. Zarty's there to refrag immediately, and that's the round over. 8-1, and Nordavind, pistol is back. It is... Oof, this is a tough one. This is now the 3rd time they've been put back to a pistol, and in total they've lost 3 full gun rounds and 3 pistol rounds. Not only are they losing this first half completely, economically speaking, they're not even being given a chance. They can't even make up with 2 considerate or 2 consecutive gun rounds. Even after winning one, they barely had enough to buy, and this is looking very one-sided so far.
It really is. I think at this point, SJ will be incredibly happy with how they've started. But again, we've seen matches like this where the score was kind of ooh, what is this? All right, nice little statistic to bring out some ADR. Oof. Yampy topping that with tied kills with Arvid, but a lot of ADR.
Which, though, 0 and 8. Oh yeah, boy.
Oh, he surpassed James Bond without us realizing.
Ouch, that hurts. Holzek as well. Look at how quiet he's been. 3 kills, and 3 kills had been in Ivy when he shut down that play when they got the round. That's the only time he got kills. I think that in itself is a big issue for Nordavind. As I've said, he's been a staple for them. And if he can't hit his shots, then Nordavind is running into trouble. And, well, surely I think it's evident by itself, by the score, how much trouble they're in. Holzerk, he needs to wake up, or more so, somebody else has to take the charge. Redifaction as well, 4 kills. This is not enough, and it's not working out at all.
And especially considering that on a CT side of Train, you want to at least be securing yourself 9 rounds. That is now not going to be a possibility whatsoever.
I mean, if they get 5 rounds, they can be happy in this case.
Literally. With how good that SJ have been. Oh, I like this kind of rush, but Sadek seems aware of it. Gets himself a first and at least info spotted. Zarty gets traded as well. That's a great start.
What was that moment?
Seems like so finally Nordavind to get themselves a little bit of a heightened chance in this. But Arvid and Kern will both find 2 kills. Back into a 2 versus 2. Redifaction to be tagged as well. And even though they do have a couple of rifles, not that it'll particularly make too much of a difference, apparently. The best case scenario right now for Nordavind is to try and exploit the fact that both Kern and Arvid are relatively low in Kroman. Again, we'll try and sneak in from backline CT. Yampy,
he's made his way
prepared as ever with WP, finds himself a first kill. That's info gathered. Yeah, and there's Arvid there ready for the trade. Yeah, relatively an easy round. And there's Redifactions left low. This should be cleaned up. A 9-1, and SJ bordering on double figures already in this first half.
And it's not even, 13, 13, 15 rounds. It's 10 rounds in. This is the 10th round, and it's a very one-sided game so far. As you said, though, there was a chance for Nordavind. They had a Molotov and a smoke. Obviously, they don't know somebody's in heaven, but that molly, if you throw it into heaven, if you chuck it there and you're ready for that push, if you kind of, halfway hoping there's somebody there and you just hit your luck, you can get a kill, and then you isolate the guy in red box or red train, you kill him, and it all turns better. But unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. 2 ops coming out, Holzek and Rubino. They won the last time they had 2 ops. Let's see if they can win again. But again, alas, SJ, they're playing another default. Ooh, Arvid burning. And if there's a nade flying in, he will die. But luckily, there's only one available on Tensky, and he's far too away. At least he can actually still chug it.
Yeah, even so, with the fact that SJ right now, again, making their way out onto the A bomb site, they've had very little challenge once more, and Arvid is able to open up the round. Sadek's a beautiful adjustment, and he'll get himself a second. Tensky is able to stay on the back of the bomb site, at least try and get an angle above that smoke, but it seems like maybe Sadek is already aware of it. Molotov goes down into connector to at least force out the first man. And with Rubino primed and ready with an AWP, look at the flank of Kern coming in, though. Yampy finds one and Tensky to trade. Kern to reply again, and Rubino down to a 1 versus 3. This is the 10th for SJ, and already solidifying such a dominant first half here.
Oh man, Intensky first kill after 9 misses, or more so 9 attempts. So he's currently at 1 in 10. Luckily, not James Bond anymore, but this is as tough as it gets. Not only do they have no money to rebuy, or at least fully invest into the round, they are lacking, I don't know, I guess, you know, focus, or maybe just that spark of energy that they got when they played against Windstrike. Currently, they feel like they have no battle plan, nothing they can work from, nothing they can, you know, set up perhaps a bit of a default and then try and win from that point forward. And Windstrike, they lost 0-2. Nordavind right now looking like they will lose the first map worse than they ever won against Windstrike. And in any case, a few kills here and there. Back to 2-on-2. This can actually be winnable.
Timing.
Rubino, yeah, the timing. He just turned to the left. And Croman, again, from the back lines, he can actually snag onto Zarty. And if he gets the bomb, this is perfect. Oh, this is really good. There we go. Back to 1-on-1. This is now winnable, thankfully, by Nordavind.
Especially with Yampy being on an AWP, it gets sort of relatively so much harder to be able to win, especially when you're facing off a 1 versus 1.
Yeah.
With an AWP, yeah, he's done the right thing. He switched himself out to a rifle. Gets an AK in hand, and with 55 seconds left, potentially could even drop a smoke, maybe dip toward the B bomb site, but he is going to force the plant at A instead. With Croman heading around toward this Ivy position. Oh, Yampy.
He's watching.
Might seem aware of it, but
Croman!
Oh, dear. Yampy able to reposition, but surely Croman has a superior angle, and he does.
Jesus.
Oh, jeez. Yampy. He gets himself a 1v1 that he can't finish, and finally Nordavind, they put around on the board 10-2, and they'll at least make this CT side just a little better. They have plenty of time to defuse. I think Croman was maybe trying to scavenge an AWP, but either way, not that it matters. They'll finally get a second on the board here on the CT side and make it just a little more respectable.
Now that was a spray that I thought lost him the game, for sure. Croman, thank God he got the kill there. Yampy, he's thinking that, you know, Croman might try to sneak on through site, or more so peek through the bomb site itself, so he's, you know, not prepared for the wide angle. Or close wide angle, but it is going to be second round for Nordavind, and it couldn't have come at a better time. You know, they win on an eco round. They at least established themselves a little bit of money here and there. They're able to rebuy, reinvest. No secondary up finally. I don't think it worked out for them the first time, maybe, but now, you know, with SJ playing defaults, with SJ playing very calmly, not really running into those ops, they can't afford to play retakes with them, so it's better to just go for the rifles, and it will work out a lot better in the long run, at least for the most part. Match going to be paused though, presumably a tactical for Norda, or maybe it's actually for SJ. I would say this is actually a tactical for SJ, discussing what to do next. Their defaults worked out perfectly. Maybe they will finally show us some sort of a straight up execute. You know, maybe a rush towards B. Maybe, I mean, rush towards B is not exactly a straight execute, but you know, a fake A through 2 guys going Ivy and the 3 guys hitting B, trying to kind of time it correctly, forcing Nordavind to play in defense of Ivy instead of focusing on B. And if they can isolate the guy on B that's solo, well, then you have it out of the round on your, I guess you could say, on your back. But Nordavind, ooh, I love this change. 2 players straight to B, and this is a higher up peak by Holzerk. Ooh, he might actually get a free kill. Ground holds will be picked by Holzerk. Please change the cam. The timing, though. Not gonna happen.
With Sadix making his way through Pop Dog, I love the fact that now SJ, oh, they hear the rush entirely. Molotov not going to be thrown, actually. Arvid will stick around just for a little longer, try and tempt fate. Radifaction going to spam at least. But if there's a flashbang from Zarty right now, that could really bode greatly for Arvid, and he'll find himself a free kill. Dips out. I think Tensky might have even been tagged through the edge of the wall. You can see the bullet there, and oh, Arvid, he'll be able to find a second. Croman can't respond. Rubino can, but not for long. And Holzerk, he's down to a 1 versus 3, where's Zarty to rip him apart. And as soon as Nordavind find victory, it gets denied straight away with a response out of SJ. And I've got to assume that that pause was from SJ just to mull it over in that round, because they responded so incredibly well. Yes, Nordavind can get a rebuy here, but it's going to be overall a very, very weak end to this first half entirely. And I think the rest of this map should slowly dwindle out in the favor of SJ realistically.
Oh yeah, I mean, at 11-2 on T-side train, I think it couldn't get better. I mean, the only thing that's better is a straight-up victory afterwards. And Croman, currently, he's alone on B, and this is what I'm talking about. And SJ had an inclination to go towards B. Gonna be denied by the smoke, at least. So Croman can stick close, or at least stick closer to upper and pop. He's got a lot of info going his way. Second smoke deployed. And that was actually an SJ smoke, not a Nordavind smoke. I was surprised to see that. Zartito will shut down the Ready faction through Electro. And all of a sudden, with the entry again lost for Nordavind, already having a limited amount of everything. Oof, this is a tough one. Very tough.
Yeah, luckily Tensky, he is able to at least reply with one, not before being tagged to 40, but it still puts a 4 versus 4 on the board. The fact that right now, though, SJ going to head toward the B bomb site. Croman the only man, but with all the sound info that he gets, Statics will be caught off. Croman can't complete the kill, though. And now backed up by his teammate. There we go. Yampi able to trade, and at least, even though they lose that first man, yeah, they trade it back into a 3v3. And with 40 seconds on the clock, wouldn't be too surprised with the fact that now Nordavind have dedicated themselves all the way around to that B bomb site. Tensky inside of main, he is holding it if they do go for the rotate. But realistically, I think SJ should be heading to the B bomb site now. They have plenty of utility to be able to get out with. Kern will join the rest of his side. There isn't a lot of time left, though, but obviously the B bomb site relatively easy to get on, providing you clear the first lines. But as time ticks, they will have to begin to move with a little bit of urgency. If Rubino gets a kill or at least drops the bomb right here, then that'll fall apart. They do trade one, picked up the bomb though. Oh, it HP incredibly low, but it seems like Yampi might just get away with a plant.
And it's back to a 1-on-2 clutch round. Yampi gonna smoke the bomb. Holzerk is actually on the bomb site itself, on the second tower. And this could still work out well for SJ if Yampi catches wind of Holzerk. Ah, okay, he's not gonna peek that. He's never expected that, so it's okay. It works out for Nordavind, thank God. They're not gonna be losing this half at 12 and, well, 13-2, really, realistically. It will be the last round of the first half, though, here, and the money for Nordavind is a bit problematic. They will have enough to, of course, support 5 rifles, but there will be very little utility if they do so. Whilst for SJ, well, they took a bit of a wild turn, losing that one round and, you know, buying just in that one kind of cost them a lot of their bank, and they will be forced to have a Galil and a UMP, as well as Karen and Sadix. Going to be pretty much empty on the part of the utility. But this is still more than enough that they can win a round if they want to. If they will actually, you know, try to, which they will, obviously. Arvid's out in Olaf. Ooh, this can get sneaky. Now, Nordavind should be aware of this, though. They have no vision on mid, or at least haven't had it perfectly from the get-go, so they should have an inclination somebody could be passing through Crossroads into Old Ladder.
And especially with the way that, like you said, they give up that mid presence, you have to be aware of this. You have to make sure that any angle is covered that you're not going to be particularly watching. But like you said, the economy of SJ really taken a dive at the end. Luckily, it is the final round, and they don't have to rely on anything for moving forward, so I think if they get an 11-4 on the Nordavind side, yes, it will be a little bit better, but I think getting SJ on that CT side would really begin to diminish the game. Nordavind have to be able to reply with at least this final round and get themselves the pistol moving forward as well. Oh, Arvid. Was he able to sneak across? I think he actually was, and yes, he does manage to catch out Rubino. That's a beautiful first kill, and as he flashes his way forward, the faction is able to trade back. The same for Holzerk and Tensky. And they might have just done it. 4 versus 2. A little bit of damage inflicted to Holzerk, and he will get picked off there at a faction.
Ooh, that was a close one.
Yeah, luckily, Croman able to save the life of his teammates on bomb site, or that would have got drastically worse. But still, Nordavind, they at least ride out 11-4. It's a very, very hard deficit, but it puts at least one more on the board to end the round with.
Yes, it does, and, well, Nordavind, they're going to have to be happy with whatever they get, and with 4 rounds gotten, they have to be content, and they need to win the pistol. It's as simple as that. If SJ get their hands on the pistol, and subsequently the second round, that's already 13-4, and the first gun round will be deciding whether or not this map will end at such a score or not. In any case, Nordavind, a tough one, very tough one. Their CT side lacking a lot of, I would say, maybe more communication than anything else. You know, their positions are not bad. It's just that they are not watching, or at least not covering each other's angles as well as they should. The last round actually proves that they improve on that they actually start to, you know, be careful of such positions. But still, Arvid got an entry on Ivy without being, you know, called for, or more so without previously being already mentioned. Nordavind, yo, somebody could have crossed main, right? There was a timing, there somebody could have gone there. When nobody checked, you have to be careful. Luckily, it works out for them still. But 11-4, and SJ, they're looking absolutely set up for this second half coming up.
Yeah, and especially with this now being their CT side to end the game on, I think they will have very little trouble being able to ride out victors. Nordavind, if they get the pistol, we might see a small resurgence, but overall SJ, with some of the past games that I've seen them play on Train, they are quite the side that, you know, playing against a team that might maybe a little bit more uncomfortable, they can get the job done relatively quickly. And I think, yeah, some of their past victories do represent that. They had a 16-11 against XCOM. Again, a side that XCOM, they do like to play Train, so a great victory in itself. They did lose to Chaos. They beat Tricked and a few of the lesser Danish teams as well, but I think that's pretty easy for SJ. And that was back in Landtrex. That was like early March. So yeah, overall a 77% win rate after getting the first kill as well, which I think was very, very apparent in this game as well. The time where Arvid was able to open up, or at least Sadix found the first kill or whatever, they were able to convert the round as well. So yeah, overall, very, very positive from SJ. And I think even with the unexpectancy of Nordavind, they've been able to handle that well, because the first time that they played Train on this league was against Zago, where they took quite a hefty defeat, 16-8. So I think even with Nordavind potentially being able to get in the prac server, maybe research a little bit, find some strategies, bolster their CT side, it hasn't particularly worked. I think against the side that heavily plays Train, this is definitely apparent there are some weaknesses, and I don't think it should have been a map that they were allowed to be picked. But yeah, overall, second half going to be very, very prudent to see who can get themselves back into the game, or whether we see SJ round off quite the hefty blow to Nordavind. I think that will set SJ up quite, you know, particularly nice for Overpass as well, because even though it's a game or a map where we did see Nordavind play recently, and SJ don't yet have a victory on it, I think the last time we saw them play was against Dream Eaters in this league. And again, it was a 16-13, so an unlucky loss. But yeah, Nordavind, they definitely have to improve in this T side, or else we'll see a very, very dwindling end to map 1 for them.
As you said, the dwindling map. I don't think it's just about if they practiced or not this map. It's more about the fact that also Tensky and Holzer have had not just a quiet game, but very much their effect in the rounds themselves was pretty much nullified all the time, with 6 and 4 kills overall in the first half. Sure, that's not, that's not 0, and that's not, as bad as having 1 or 2 kills, but their overall impact had been pretty much 0. Holzerk, the 1 round he got, obviously it's all amazing, but everything else was nothing. So hopefully the second half goes better, as well as the second map if need be. But in any case, we'll be right back after a short break.
Loot.bet. Made for live betting.
Welcome back, of course. We are ready for our second pistol and the decision whether or not to count out Nordavind for the first map, because not only do they need the pistol, which obviously is not as important as it was, but at 11-4, moving on to the T side of Train, that you've already had issues playing, not only in the past, but just generally speaking, you've had issues playing it. This is going to be a tough one. And Nordavind, well, they've got 2 smokes, 2 mollies, and no flashbangs. I actually like this. This looked like a B hit with a bit of a fake out through Ivy, and potentially running through Ivy towards B itself. This is very good, or at least on paper it is. Oh.
Yeah. But that's not good. Information already gathered from the CTs. I'm surprised that no one's rotated off of the back of this, actually, but with the way that SJ are sort of calmly asserting their pistol setup, putting a lot of heavy presence toward this A bomb site, but it might actually pay off, depending if Nordavind back away from B, go down Pop Dog, allow Rubino and Tensky to split through Ivy to really distract. This might actually really work out for SJ. Their setup way better than I think they even know right now. And with 55 seconds approaching, Zati in the smoke might even be able to catch away a kill. And he definitely does. Spamming onto Tensky, and a little bit of return fire does highlight So there is at least a player in this position, but now the rest of this T side going to wrap their way around toward the B bomb site. The artillery to be called in. Oh, Croman can't convert the kill, and Sadix, oh dear, he's actually able to find the frag. He looks for more, but luckily Redefaction able to find one. Kern denies again, though. And 1 versus 3, it seems like the pistol is always going to go in SJ's favor right now. Also, yes, he does, of course, have 100 points of health, but with 3 players to contest with, and they have a defuse kit, they can slow down entirely. And there's Zati with a nice piece of timing to catch off Holzerk. 12-4, and whilst Nordavind do land themselves a bomb plant, it's not a round that you particularly wanted to be losing at the base of it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of relied on the pistol to give them at least, you know, that 2-round buffer, or at least additional bonus from which they can work on. Obviously, the plant will give them enough economy that they could potentially still buy here with maybe 2-3 AKs. But again, the issue remains the fact that, well, not only are they down 8 rounds, they are going to lose 1 more here with a full eco. Yes, the gun round will be, of course, the 1 round that's going to decide how Nordavind can keep themselves alive in map 1. Holzerk, still quiet, still not being able to hit his shots. Definitely Croman trying a few tricks here and there, maybe pushed too far, maybe overstepped his boundaries, you know, shouldn't have pushed as deep as he did. But in the end, SJ, they're going to be very happy with the current result and the current way this is going. And look at their confidence. They take WAP control, they take all of control, they're playing very close range, very personal space takers, if you could call it that. You know, they are ready for this rough and tough engagement, especially with the MP9s and the UMPs. They have everything currently set up for any sort of execute Nordavind might prepare for them.
And the fact that, again, Nordavind don't have particularly too much does give SJ that massive advantage already, but I love the fact that they're already playing so tactically on their CT side, making sure that they get the job done, even in rounds where they can afford to be a little less, or a little more loose. Already a couple of kills, or at least 1 to be found. Anyway, Redefaction now incredibly low. A beautiful swing out, though. A Yampy with the scout to at least find 1. Can't deny a second, and Rubino finds a Glock kill. Redefaction.
Oh my.
What a beautiful headshot, and now into a 1 versus 2. Kern able to surprise, and we're now seeing Holzerk on the masterful scout. He can't afford to do much with it. Even so, does find himself the scout shot, but with that bomb defused, they do give up the round either way. 13-4. Holzerk will actually clean up Kern as well.
This is what you want to see.
Gets himself a free AUG, yeah, definitely. And with so much money now on that T side, it does put them at a good position. That was a beautiful shot from Redefaction as well. Shame that they actually didn't convert that round, but that might have been the turning point, especially with SJ being stark broke at the end of that round.
Pretty much so, exactly. And Holzerk, thankfully, he's finally hitting those shots, even if it might be on a full eco with a round that was lost. You know, at least he's waking up by the looks of it. He's able to hit his shots. He's able to start giving Nordavind a chance, a fighting chance, if you will. I mean, the players, they rely on being able to get those entries. They're not performing. They're not giving... or more so, besides Chrome, and nobody else is really shining brightly. And right now on this gun round, it's vital that they win it. There is no other way. Even if they, you know, if they almost won that last round, their money, as good as it looks, it's not going to bring them victories as a whole. And right now, they're being denied Ivy control. Zarty playing smart to make sure that nobody can cross without his knowledge. But the timing for Tensky is perfect. He sprays through the smoke and catches himself a piece of the pie. So a good opener in Nordavind with a minute left. They've got enough time to contemplate what the hell they want to do. A execute maybe? Certainly looks like it. The smokes will be set up by Holzerk and Croman. Nope, okay. Holzerk goes... yeah, they will still smoke A. I like this. A split, it's simple, it's clean, and it can work.
Especially with the way that SJ right now is setting themselves... Sadix does his Tensky. Oh, he actually does find the kill, okay.
Somehow.
Sadix even with a FAMAS able to overpower Tensky. Rabino luckily there for the refrag. Down to a 4 versus 3, and they do keep the advantage. But Kern, again, able to find 1 more. The fact that Yampy is hunting behind them. Oh, Rabino! That's so incredibly smart, though, and that's a round for Nordavind. A great way to respond after losing so many rounds. More of a simplistic round, and it pays off for them as well. So SJ, they'll be down to an eco for this one, and that T side should start to feel a little happier that they can maybe gain some rounds back here. Overall, though, it does seem like SJ, yeah, they're going to force buy into this, so a double eco at hand if they lose this one, which most likely that'll be the output. with eco rounds particularly not being too fruitful, especially on a map like Train. But with the way that Nordavind played their second round, we could potentially see something different. Either way, Nordavind will speed up entirely, head toward this A bomb site. Oh, Arvid, he's at least able to find one, but not before Redifaction trades twice. Sadix, beautiful headshot onto Rubino, and now into a 3 versus 3, especially, with Redifaction low and Holzer being challenged inside of main. This now gets difficult, but Tensky saves the life. Zati to deny one more, and with the 2 players now being tagged, this makes it a little difficult. Sadix finds one more, and 1 versus 1 now.
At this point, just hold it. Just hold it. Yeah, he's gonna hold it. He has
well.
time. He has time. That's
Oh my god, no way!
Oh, that's the round.
Oh, he got it!
Oh my god, Tensky! He didn't expect that there was a kit. He didn't expect that he had a 5-second death kit. And that's it. That's the only reason why he doesn't go out sooner, why he doesn't spray. And it's a perfect round for SJ. It wasn't anything special. They buy up, sure, and obviously their money is not good now when they win and, you know, they lose all players, but they got the 14th. They picked themselves up 2, or more so, they put themselves 2 away from victory in map 1, their own map pick. And Nordavind, this has to shake them to the core. This is gonna hurt, and this is gonna come back to really haunt them. This round is vital for Nordavind. Losing this would most likely result in losing the map as a whole. As SJ, I mean, on a weak buy as is, you have to win a round like this. P90? Wait, am I seeing? Yeah, P90. Oh my god. Oh, Lord.
Yampi trying to bring out all the stops here, apparently get himself a very, very unorthodox weapon. I can respect it, especially playing that kind of close position, but overall, like you say, SJ particularly on a weaker buy. Croman going to drop down.
Nice.
The double stack will work this time.
I love it.
And that's a beautiful first entry. A great way to at least just bag yourself a kill. They lost minimal damage off of the back of that as well, so it's always a play you can make, and if it pays off dramatically. And ooh, Zati. Pretty sure Tensky a little bit of an sort of a thought that he might be there, and ooh, spamming. Kern will get tagged as well, but does manage to at least take out Croman. Finds himself 2, and Zati takes a 3rd.
Oh, Tensky
finds 2 in the smoke, though, and able to respond, not before being tagged down to 27, but still, it's a 2 versus 2. I love the fact that Sadix is playing this sort of aggressive posted angle. Yampi to go and peek close. Will he expect the player on the right? Surely not. The smoke is there. And Tensky able to wrap around, but oh, does he?
Oh, he looked in the smoke, but he didn't see him because the smoke was still so thick.
He can run the time down. There's going to be very little time left.
If he denies the plant, and if he can evade the shot, oh my god! And it's a safe plant. Okay. Now he lost the round. No chance he wins, or at least he shouldn't be. This is a Stargate gun, and it's really accurate in the show, but in CS, it's actually really bad unless you're kind of running and gunning, and you have luck that the op misses you. Now, the lucky break here for him is that he actually damages the AK instead of the op. Because the op has a 3-second window where it has to reload, so you can, you know, abuse that. But luckily the P90 will not do any more damage besides, well, actually quite a little bit on both, but doesn't matter. It is a round that Nordavind pick up, and it's a lucky break for them. And this double by Tensky, that's actually what saves the round in this case. Without that double, there is no chance he can actually, or more so, there's very little chance Nordavind would have had to win the round. In such a position. And well, this resets SJ actually, puts them back on the chopping block. They will have around $1,900 bonus, I believe, and that should be enough to, you know, call for a full eco. Yeah, it's actually 1,400. Okay, I actually would see this as a full force coming out from SJ. Why not? There's a double eco anyway on the table, at least.
Yeah, and I think it would be a better way to go about the round. Yes, you give up another one to Nordavind, but with the barrier that you have right now, you can afford to play the longer game. So yeah, go for that force buy, and that is definitely what they will do. Again, we can see the ADR still, or the stats in general, just favoring
Croman.
The CT side for now. Croman, yeah, 20 kills though, top of the leaderboard, with the rest of his team a little bit behind, but it's nothing too, you know, bad to worry about with the way that SJ have been playing.
Yeah.
Overall though, you can tell that SJ are very, very tactically in tune with how they play with their full team. Obviously, the 3 rounds they've won in the, or at least on the board right now that you can see, have all been defuses. So retake's going to be a big part of SJ's sort of motto, and especially considering that we saw the last time SJ played, they had the 2 stand-ins. They had Ela and Euphis, so obviously, now they're back as their 5-man roster. We're definitely seeing greater things out of them. And yeah, we'll see that full force from the SJ team. Again, it's the wiser decision with the loss bonus that they will have in the next round. So this time we potentially will see SJ setting themselves up for some close angle pistol plays. Again, the scout being purchased with Exati as well. So we can always see some potential headshots with that. Yampy aggressive as well and already gathers a little bit of basic info. Redifaction tagged to 53, and all in all, with the way that SJ are playing so far, you wouldn't be surprised if they come away with at least 2 or 3 kills, if not winning the round in itself.
That would be the scary part, and that's pretty much what concerns me the most for Nordavind. If they choose to go solo too much, if they choose to go for those duels, there goes another tag. Tensky at 29. This is not a good start for Nordavind. They've got 1 minute and 15 seconds left, and they still have to find 5 kills, or at least plant the bomb and evade getting killed themselves. And at the moment, with the CZs, the Deagle, the Defuse Kit, and the Scout, SJ is set up perfectly for winning a round like this. Although, Nordavind, if they make the double drop and pop, kill the guy there, and then they can isolate, perhaps 1 or 2 more kills, they should have enough, momentum as overall firepower as well to be able to throw down SJ. But this looks like a B hit, and currently all 5 players have rotated towards A. So if Nordavind hit this in the end, the round is lost for SJ, or at least should be. Yeah, this is a B hit, certainly. And Densky, he's patient in main. He's wanting to get a free kill, and, well, SJ, they've lost their chance to win the round, I think. At least they should have lost their chance to win this round.
Yeah, especially with that bomb now being planted. Tensky to find the first kill onto Kern as well to really begin to hit home. And SJ, they will pull away from the B bomb site in itself. I think Tensky did spot another man as well as Yampy looks to approach. And a second kill, relatively simple. Keeps himself alive as well. And right now with SJ going to be into, I think, another eco going forward. They, of course, they'll have themselves the saved weaponry to carry over, but overall the rest of the side won't particularly have too much money. So yeah, SJ will give Nordavind a 7th, most likely going to be the 8th as well. Exati already picked off by Rubino, at least denying the scout. Sadix and Arbid remain at least 1 AK to be saved, so that's not too bad of a round finish. They got a rifle away snatched, so yeah, not particularly the worst outcome. But full eco in the hands of SJ. And at this point, yeah, Nordavind, they can at least make the scoreline look a little bit more respectable, even if they were to lose this map in itself. The comeback is all, of course, possible, with SJ being on 14. But realistically, this should be a game that does go to SJ. It just depends when rather than how. And Nordavind, they will, again, most likely have themselves a free round in this one, but the gun round coming up next is the real decider with the way that SJ have been playing on this first map in its entirety so far.
Yeah. Well, so far, it's a great start. Rubino finds 1 spray, Sadix as well, but Zarty returns back. What is going on? It's going in for the secondary. Oh, no. Okay, thank God Halzer Kantinsky immediately responds, so it's not going to be that bad. And SJ should still be losing the round after, after getting a... Okay, he gets away with a 2nd. This is unacceptable. What is going on? Ready fashion! He misses the spray! No, you can't do this! This should be... No, Holzerk, he's left in a 1-on-2. He's got 1 player who's very low, but Yampy's got an AK. He's coming back around, and Sadix baiting the shot, or at least the vision. Oh, and here we go. He goes for the claim, but Yampy! That's what I'm talking. SJ, 15-7. Oh, no, that was a full eco. No, you can't lose against full ecos. Oh, snap. That's bad.
That is very, very bad. What a way to allow SJ back into this game, to make sure that this might just be coming way sooner than expected. I thought Nordavind, they would have at least got to maybe 8 or 9, but that might not be the mantra at this point with the way that they've just won that eco round. Again, exploiting a weakness from this T side, and Yampy and Sadix still both find opening kills. Yampy with 1 more. And I've got to say, that's the game. Nordavind, they'll drop map 1 16-7 in a clean-ass round from SJ to finish. They lost no points of health. They lost no men. And what a way to finish. 16-7 and a very dominant first map, which sets SJ up incredibly for overpass.
Lucky that, Nordavind wake up with Holzerk and even Tensky. They kind of get themselves back in a working order. But unfortunately, it was too late. Too little too late, especially after losing the first half 11-4. And then, it was just a simple job for for SJ to get up to that easy 14-15 rounds, and it was just the end afterwards. Unfortunately, map 1 gone, as you said, and Nordavind's gonna have to win it back, get themselves onto a one-on-one tie in maps, of course, on our second map, Overpass. In any case, we'll be taking a short break, and we'll be back after about 5 to 10 minutes. Make sure to follow us on Twitter if you haven't yet, Kieran at Kieran the Caster, or myself at Overseard, and we'll see you guys within 10 minutes.
Loot.bet. Made for live betting.
Time ticks and decays, never to return, never to feel whole.